This is the End of the Road podcast with your host, Michael Coco. Exploring the horizons we never touch because we're already there. Welcome, and thanks for listening. Tonight we're off to Toronto with Joshreichmann. Josh is a filmmaker, an author, a multidisciplinary artist, and we're really going to be focusing on his book, The Realized Light of the 12 Dimensions. And maybe I'm not the best person to say this, but I think in talking with Josh, I really get the feeling that he's connecting with something very, very interesting. And in talking with him, he sort of allowed me to sort of get a glimpse in that too as well. So I'm very grateful for this conversation. We had a really good time. And without further ado, we'll just take it away with Josh. Are we channeling all the time? Is that what humans are, like 24/7 channelers, or what's really going on here?
Yes. So definitely, I try to outline in the book I wrote, or give a sort of multi-pronged or different entry points for people to cognitively and in a feeling body sense remember and come to sort of intellectual awareness at the same time that, we are these transmitter receivers, and people touch on this and know it, but having language for it and doing it is important. So yes, we're inflecting, ingesting, metabolizing, these molds and codes and templates and frequencies of pre-existent states, like Platonic states, morphic resonance people are aware of, like Rupert Sheldrake's idea of shared states of information and data that obviously extends outside of just the earthly plane and human history, which is, very long in this timeline. All these impressions that any singular sentient being has ever had through its senses are like impressions in a morphic or plasma field that's retained, and it's ingested or comes back in when one has the same frequency in their current body state. The current body state is the gross material body, the emotional body, the wave, tonal pattern of thoughts, and the auric or subtle bodies, which is essentially just bioelectricity hovering in a near proximity to the gross material body. Yeah. So we channel, meaning if I'm speaking to you on a basic level, we're doing cognizing through sound waves and all that, and you're getting form impressions, and then your body's getting an impression of me and you, and we're forming judgments, and we're just doing the normal basic level bandwidth that supplies an ego reification. So I'm you, I'm me, you're you. Here's how we understand the Akashic field, and I'll stop talking in a second so we can keep going. But because you asked one question, but I'm answering a lot.
No, keep going. No. This is the flow. Yeah. I mean, I think this is kind of what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, this is everything, and this is my field is to, without even over codifying in any tradition. Though I come from traditions, and I really respect lineage and tradition because it keeps really clear certain channels of teaching, but my job is to help remind people that they can do this stuff. But schizoaffective, broken, fractured psyche, disassembled, confused, projection-based, unintegrated, wounded ego, which people are aware they're having to work on, is the massive obstacle to channeling being done with fluidity, safety, and any utility, right? It's of no use if we're just sitting there getting, Fibonacci sequence, macro metaphysics, and then you're on the street and you're asking for change, and people say, it's a shaman that's unrecognized. That's true. But our culture doesn't have the containers for most people who do this. So we have to retrain ourselves in this broken culture to do it correctly so that we can help uplift, the earth, civilization, multi-civilization, etc.
All right, so let's retrain ourselves. Let's get on the track. Let's go. Let's. What are we going to do to help the homeless person begging on the street, or what are we? How are we going to put? Or your words? How are we going to? What's the container like that we're aspiring to?
Yeah, well, I think that first of all, we have to jettison a lot of our pretenses. So what happens is, and I fall into this too. Like I think everyone in the spiritual domain does this naturally, and in some ways has to do this, which is they spiritually materialize their practice. They confuse divine pride with just pride. And, or I am an expert in this and therefore I. And then suddenly you've just sucked all that spiritual energy.
It just got concrete. It just got concrete. You were uplifting me a second ago, and that was just like.
Yeah. So,
I'm just teasing. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, and it's not about the words. It's sort of like something else almost. It's like we're both pointing to. It's like
yeah. So that's a challenge. First is that the people who have the tap in, who sense, feel, relate and work across these intrapsychic, spiritual, energetic spaces, can find the middle path. Like, yes, you're the one doing it. Yes, you can take divine pride and you can make a career out of it if you want. Like, okay, sure. Like, or build your mega, Arcturian, geodesic dome with the $1 billion to retemplate the human system and, feel good and eat all the right stuff and great. But remember the humility that we are these channels for something larger happening. So nice balance there. That would be the first diagnosis and correction so that we can help people in all strata. Yeah. More egalitarian spiritual connection.
Yeah. Another point you made in the book I thought was interesting, and maybe I'm extrapolating a little bit, but to go along with that is a way that we're always being initiated in a way, so like we're always channeling and there's always an opportunity to be initiated too. It's here, and I don't know if that's, I have this image of like, we're all just like everywhere is like a blade of grass, reaching up to the sun always, and then it wilts and then it becomes fertilizer and then comes back again, reaching the sun. I don't know.
Yeah. This opportunity that's always present to like, synthesize and alchemize the gold out of any exchange. The only resistance being pre-existent ignorances or blockages or energetic blockages that make a slower process for that initiation. So you and I are speaking and there's elixir coming from you that I could take and it would cause a humility in a good way, and then it would fill my vessel and I would be in a state of uplift, and it's a shared frequency we could do. And then that builds the species, builds sentient consciousness, builds bliss, builds, unification, these things people hope for. And then suddenly we're off to the races. We're actually beginning this trust-based but sovereign next level of evolution. I believe that happens, like you said, at all moments. With my kids are screaming, unending opportunity. Obviously, when my kids are screaming, my nervous system and epigenetic hardcore reactivities that are biologically imprinted make for different feeling tones that I have to move through and, reactivities. Same with, you and I now, like what is the boundary, and how do we keep it while also building something together? So, yeah.
Yeah. I like the words. Yeah, the way that and I was listening to your book too, on audio tape, and you weren't, be interesting. I guess you didn't read it, so you weren't the narrator in it, but it would have been great because the way
I
you
know.
talk, the way the book reads is just like you're talking now. You use the language you use is so evocative and colorful. I'm not that. I don't have the words like that. That's probably why I'm not writing books like you. But just like you just create like all these structures. I mean, I can just like feel these like structures being created. Just reaching up to the sky almost, and just like as you're talking now, that you're so articulate. That's the word. That's the word.
Nice. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was the book when you speak and use all this colorful language that is this channeled too? Where is this coming from? I mean, is this part of this? Was the whole book like a channel, or when you actually, is there a process that you use the like now I'm formally channeling as opposed to just now I'm taking care of my kids and now I'm doing this and
yeah.
how does existence unfold for you like that kind of?
I think most people, and maybe you relate, like I noticed you closing your eyes when we're speaking, there's an inner softening and comes from our practice, right? That we know how to feel into this centered place. Like anyone listening right now, listening back, at any point, they can drop into different states of kind of love, like kind of it's what it is. It's this beautiful blend of compassion, receptivity, de-armoring. The body actually remembers its place in space-time and yet is totally open, like Dzogchen, like open, open, open. And yet here we are. There's no fear of disassembling. People are always worried, oh, if I get too vulnerable, I'm gone. It's like, well, actually, true heartfelt vulnerability is in connection with the Most High and with each other. So for me, when I'm there, anything useful will come. And that is what I try to help others with, is that we could talk about peeling back layers, multi-life layers. And they do, because some of the time it's necessary. But in real time, there's nothing wrong. there's nothing there's nothing wrong. Nothing to do. And then there, though, the creative, beautiful, strange magic unfoldment of impressions from phenomenon gives us, it doesn't even give us, it lends us and dances with us to co-create, that energetic field of visioning that we're going to live in. But it is a vulnerable, open, yet focused place, present time awareness of the full body system. Yeah, with faith, trust, a lot of vulnerability, but a lot of like, it's just like this inner smile. And really, people don't have to overcomplicate, and go make it this bigger metaphysical dance. I can do that.
Yeah,
Because,
obviously.
yeah,
Obviously.
but what I found is at the end of the day, when you get into like the high end, multidimensional portal, Stargate, intrapsychic space of re-evolution on Earth, what you're talking about is a present time unfoldment that is beyond the language I'm bothering with right now. Most people know that. They know it because they feel it. So I like that too.
Yeah.
So.
Is it like music? The language is like music, and what it's pointing to is, sort of something behind the music,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's not so much. I mean, the words you're using, they just kind of flow together, and like I said, they're so eloquent. But I don't like, then part of me is like trying to piece together. Well, you said you said this, and you said this, and you said that. It's like kind of easier if I just kind of let it flow. Not.
Well, no, we can bear down on anything. I mean, I grew up with physicists in my family, yogis in my family, artists. And I don't take that for granted just because they use vernacular from the last paradigm, from the Piscean age, technological age, information age. post-industrial age, postmodern age, and using English, just because I'm interested in channeling and the spiritual embodied work. Yeah, metaphysics. These technologies and techniques. So nothing's left out, right? From Middle Ages technology, yeah, Bronze Age technology, spiritual technology, Atlantean technology, 1940s Germany. Pick anything, and there's, like you said before, there's these seeds. Yeah, so they come in for use. So people call themselves shamans, but they reject and resist and create all types of binary space. If you've been through the initiation, the real one, you died, you really, really, really died, the darkness, and have gone to Hades and back, and the celestial palaces and back, and seen the illusory nature, then you can be grounded and work with anything. Addicts, sex workers, spiritualists, people caught in all types of epigenetic traumas, the earth herself, the shadow within the earth. There's really no end, because what would you reject? If like you said, anything can become worked with that strength of love.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm saying so much, but what I mean is to say is that you can look at any piece, like you said, like even intellectually, and it's okay to live there. I can try to live anywhere for, the work. Yeah.
And you said, at the end of the day, and that's to me like the death. I mean, we go through that every night. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's the darkness, and like everything that we've done during the day fades away into almost non-existence, and then we're embracing the I mean, we don't have to go any almost, because it's, and then it, I mean, because so we live within this, we think that, I mean, the cycle is there. I mean, the birth and the death is almost inherent every day. And that's why, it's almost like the resurrection themes are so powerful for us, because then every day in the morning, we're back up at it, and then like everything crumbles away at night, all our thoughts disappear into, this dreamlike realm, and then we're back up again, and like the whole universe is doing that.
So one of the things that was a big initiation touch point in my life. Are we lagging a little? Is it a little slow? Is it okay, the recording? Just I see my own thing is a little slower, but it's okay, right?
Yeah. I think the sound is okay. Every now and then, the video is
okay. No problem. Lucid dreaming, astral projection, lucid dreaming. There's great gifts to have your consciousness. Like anyone listening right now, maybe people know how to do this, or want to remember that they know how to do this. That if you see this world as a dream, yeah, really with your senses, not as a cognizing as a concept, but right now, without becoming dissociative and saying nothing matters. It's not about nihilism. It's a tremendous responsibility. Every wave of action means something in that it affects, every other moment. So, and for others. But if you see this as a dream in that it's unstable, nothing permanent, coming and going, nothing concrete, go down to the subatomic particle, you don't find anything, movement, energy, qualities, change, frames change. If you see it as a dreamlike, and kind of detach a little bit from too much grasping, where there's a sort of heat in the grasping. That's with the gross ego at its edge, right? If you just soften and see things as a dream, vibrant, very wakeful, but also stay softened. If you do that in your daytime, what we call the waking life, this waking life movie, same idea. When you carry some of that awareness pattern, you'll wake up in your dreams, as most people can do sometimes, by accident, whatever. And they're lucid dreaming. So you go, I'm lucid dreaming. And if you really stabilize that, start to explore, we know, and I wrote about this a lot, and people have written about it. But what is that space? Is it just the dimension of your own pre-ingested, hallucinated formations, maybe even collective archetypal formations at the bottom of your consciousness, says Jung? No, it's that plus established connective astral architecture, right? Some beings live there. Most people lucid dream, come wave in and out of reality there. Most of us are unconscious, getting batted around like a feather in the wind there. We wake up and say, something happened. I'm a little traumatized from last night, or, oh, what a gift that song was, or, oh, that's kind of a sentimental, sad feeling. I miss that person, / what a humiliation that little regurgitation of my unconsciousness was. But hold on. Imagine what was really happening. We were just in a sandbox in the corner, battering around in our own debris. But there's a huge sandbox, right? So if you can learn to lucid dream, you're essentially learning how to generate an energetic container for between lives, when your material body dies, the elemental body, and forever, that has more cohesion. So instead of just rebirthing haphazardly, you can reincarnate. People talk about reincarnation as if they're intending to reincarnate. You're not reincarnating. You're rebirthing like water getting poured everywhere, and you just try to have some of it go into one new cup next life. But you can barely steer anything. We can, right? And just some stuff happens. Karma. Yeah. The energy quality of our cause and effect that's at the core of our energy being forces us magnetically into the next vessel that's appropriate. Same with the dream space. We're in the environment that co-resonates with our quality. But awareness destroys the cause and effect karmic chain. It lets us step out and energize with determination. So you wake up and you dream and you die and go between lives, one does, with determination. And if you measure and enmesh that into compassion and the desire to liberate all sentient beings, you become what people really are aiming for. These Buddhas, these angelic things.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about then your practices to embody more of the Buddha, perhaps. I mean, do you meditate, and if so, what does that look like, or what would your lucid dream practices look like? If practices, maybe it's practices isn't the right word, but how do you step into that and touch that?
My practice has become about parenthood, relationship, because I found that in being reborn into having a real life, that I have to see myself through the lens of my role. So my role cannot just be seeker. Yeah. It's an unending thing. My role apparently is father, partner, son, friend, and part of society. It doesn't matter if this is the matrix society. I'm in it. And yes, I renounce it. Like I renounce the features that are toxic, but I'm in it. Like I'm in it. You can't go to a mountain and just, people are going to remember you. You go to your mountain hermitage and you say, I am done. Or you go to your jungle cabin and people call you, or the snake bothers you, or the wind wants you to move. You have to move your hut. We're in relationship here. And and then you remember then you have to run home. You remember that you have grandparents that need you. Oh, what was I doing for 6 years? They could have used me. I could have been in my role. No one likes their role. And it's uncomfortable, right? Because wouldn't it be nice to just have it all? Everyone let you off the hook. You can go do dharma for a lifetime and we'll all feed you sushi. It's not going to happen. So, my dharma that is about purifying, and it's really like grounded. It's like, wow, I see not just the confusions and bad habits and traumas and stuff that's in my psyche from this life, early childhood, womb, etc., whatever stuff people talk about. Everyone knows this stuff now, because a lot of new age people really get rid of that. They go, I've dealt with that in the past life, and then I work with them. And okay, well, why are your relationships falling apart? You have no finances. You're getting kicked out of your house and your body's hurting and you're full of depression, anxiety, and a whole bunch of ideas. It's like it's not society's fault. It's not the matrix demonic, realm that this overlay that's causing the problem. It's like, come back to your role and deal with what has to be dealt with in front of you. It doesn't mean staying in toxic relationships, nothing like that. It means facing it. This is where the magic is. And, so for me, that's the practice. I don't like it. It's uncomfortable. I have a escapist strain in me. And what I see in the spiritual community is people who get one Pleiadian download, and now they are a Pleiadian ambassador who is going to start a electromagnetic super, I don't know, church on a mountain. And I relate. I get it. You feel called, you feel called to the mission. And then it's like, okay, but you have to put gas or even electricity in your car, or get a donkey if you don't like your car. But now you have to learn to ride a donkey. You're in relationship here. I'm just ranting, but what I'm saying is that's my practice is very worldly, because it's very easy for me to go to many dimensions. So the world is where my dharma lives now, with family and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the tagline of this podcast, the new one, it's not new anymore, is immanence equals transcendence. And that's what your immanence, you've landed on this planet. You're a star creature. And oh my goodness. You start talking about role, and they're just like, it's like, oh, he's not moving anymore. He's solid. He's taking a breath. What a word, role. I mean, it's also like, it's like this. It's like a circle. I'm doing a circle with my hand, a roll. It's spelled differently, obviously, but you're in one place. You're in a roll. You're rolling around.
Yeah,
and egg roll.
Oh my God. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe you're right. I should escape the role. Don't get rebirth through the white light and get sent back to Earth. Turn around and join the cosmos and go to another star system in Andromeda and get reborn on a more like a softer nebula where it would be easier to
water planet.
Yeah, water planet. No roll, just flow. Just flow. No roll around the globe.
Yeah. But can't we go there? I mean, can't you? Yes. I mean, we can feel. You could feel. I mean, aren't we already kind of in a water planet and in a crystalline grid? And
yes, we are.
Level. Yeah, I mean, it's like and that's. I don't know. But and it's almost like we can imagine all kinds of shit.
because it's
not shit. Not we can imagine shit too, but.
Oh, but you're right, because the reason we can imagine it, Magi, is because we are that very thing we keep externalizing. We are the super, perfection, where people understand it through the yogic lens, your nadis, your chakras, your energy body. It is already perfect. Are parasites the problem? Actually, parasites are partially good for us. Is the dark, entropic, sort of satanic realm that wants us all to be caught in the senses, is it the problem? No, it's the foil. It's the thing we observe. It's the projection outward of the formations of things that are destructive we observe to remember we're not it. If we were it, we wouldn't see it. So, we wouldn't see it with that externalizing, view. So yes, all resides in this realm. The crystalline grid in the ground, the the soft flowing water of our body and everything around us, the ether, the fire of our motivation to move. However that's working, the breath of God. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. You know, the part of the book, your part of the book that made me a little uncomfortable, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it made me uncomfortable is when you started talking about evil and Satan and AIs, and I don't know, I don't know, just but you know, is there a place? I mean, is that? I mean, I see
No, go for
evil.
it.
Evil is like I said, everything is straining to the sun. We're all plants just, you know, trying to catch a sunlight, and then it starts to wilt, you know, and that's just the natural process, that the alchemical process of aging, death, and rebirth, and then we become fertilizer, and then we start growing again, you know. And I don't know if and this is just me, that like calling that a sort of like a satanic process tends to invoke fear, that then now I have fear about what's really happening. And because of, you know, I grew up in a religion where they beat you to death. What Satan going to get you? You know, that can, you know, scares you as a kid. So when you start using that language, I don't know necessarily, at least for me, it's helpful, but I don't know, convince me otherwise. It made me uncomfortable. So what am I missing here?
Yeah,
That's
I
a
hear
good
you.
thing.
No, I understand. And like I think I said a moment ago, and that's maybe more where my heart is, generally, in a discerning way, is to understand, you know, every moment, like you said, having a potential to reveal itself and exhaust and then recycle, and that this is more of a natural process, whether it's an idea or a body or a culture or a galaxy. Now, for us, I think as a civilization and an embodied species, we have to be honest about, it's not all relativist. So we have these options for how to move. And so it's very relativistic to say that if there's violence, it's towards an ultimate good. We have to decide on what we bring and also what's being brought before us. And in my channeling, it's just take it or leave it for people. Really, it's just one being's language, one just my stuff. So someone could say I don't resonate, I'm on a different frequency, or they could say don't like how that's described. It's totally reasonable. Like we're all doing our thing. This world system has, um, you know, it has innately or naturally invited in entropic forces, forces that whole modus operandi, whole systems, whole energies, um, are to sift and take energy from the life force evolutionary process. And you could say they're part of the life force evolutionary process, but they're like the shadow. So we say in ourselves, the only good of our ignorance is when it's no longer ignorant, right? It was a good thing then. My ignorance about something about myself was good. When I shone light on it, it became a fruit. It became useful for me to help others with, or to never repeat a pattern or a behavior, or to see myself as a growing being. But that doesn't mean I nurture that ignorance in others or myself through continuous behavior or by feeding, you know, these sick parts of things that take life force. Life force is bringing us together, is evolving consciousness in detail, complexity, you know, harmony, symmetry, potential goods for the greatest amount of conscious sentient beings, and aligning us with higher planes of spiritual existence. So in my experience, I use some of those languages like satanic. I did not grow up with those being the words, and I know they're very like, but they just, that's what I saw in channeling. I saw that very energy. I did. I saw that very powerful collect, you know, and it feeds as a reflection on us and is based on our own shadow, but it has a formation and it has intention. and it has a beingness. The way anything is both interdependent and somehow independent. And that thing then has agency, even if the agency is only animated by what we give it. Yeah. So call it anything. Take away the cultural signifiers, right? Forget it. It's still there. And I guess for me, unfortunately or fortunately, my channeling showed me a lot of the dark spaces, celestially, galactically, etc. I really think they're there to create momentum for us, and it's good that they're revealed. I think it's a good thing to reveal that stuff. So,
Yeah. What? Okay. So, it is a way to provide the impetus toward more straining toward the sunlight in the future.
yeah,
The energy.
oh, absolutely,
Yeah. Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and I totally get that. This Saturnine archetype, that tends toward. Okay, so so I'm going to be quote devil's advocate.
Yeah, go for it.
So then you have embodied here on this planet and fit a role that sort of, to my mind, takes a little bit of that energy because you were sort of and this is you're much more eloquent about this, but you were more expansive perhaps, and you were galactic and you were universal and expansive, and now you're contracted, which to me is a Saturnine into a role that is very more finite perhaps. And now you can say call bullshit, but this is like this is just so. And again, of course, being devil's advocate, of course, me doing this to you is sort of quote unquote satanic in a way, right? Putting you in a little mold. It's so
mean.
Okay. So then just like let's okay. Now we come back down. The energy of the room goes down, and everybody gets sad. So then let's but
I see what you're saying.
But there's so much love in what you said too. That like you've come down and now you're with kids and family. You're talking about relationships. And there's love in that, and now we're growing again. We're growing, and it's love and expansive.
Well, I mean,
it's just like this endless sort of.
Yeah, we could do a meditation where we're only uplifting and really recognize the absolute perfection of everyone listening right now, the stabilization of their perfection in the totality of goodness that is phenomenal experience. It is good. It's good,
right?
And so,
and the sunlight is back.
Yeah, recording. Oh, this is my computer is talking about disk space. Yeah, so that's always there. Like that's done. We win. All wins. All has been won. There has never been a duality. Soha. Amen. So, and to uplift everyone, like you said, today in their very moment, the grace is available. It's never not available. It's always there. They are the grace. And on a practical level, they can bring that grace to the next frame of their experience, at the coffee shop, to themselves in the mirror, standing upright, softening, crying, whatever they have to do. But notice that as determined as we are also propelled. Yeah. We're propelled. We're propelled. There's forces propelling us. Yeah. Everyone likes the part where they're determining it and feeling good about it. But then, where are we? You're through the door. Something new has happened. You know what I mean? So it's how we respond is important. Yeah. But I'm saying, on a macro scale, we want to change the propulsion. So we're never up against the tension of entropic forces. So that means looking at where they're coming from. Yeah, they're coming from within. They're in the house. And it's healthy. It's very healthy. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think.
Yeah, no. You're realizing what is guiding you. What sort of spirit is coming into you?
Yes.
And telling you.
Deep discernment. Because
the big D word.
Is that a big one? I don't know. Does
Oh
everyone?
no, that's a great no. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to bring a little joy into it. Simran is a great word, so I'm yeah. That's a yeah. But there's an element of discernment that that's because you're cutting out something you're discerning, right? I mean discern. There's a
Earn.
yeah. Okay, good. So let's hold it. Yeah, no discern. Yeah, but to me, like discernment in a way is cutting, isn't it? Because you're excluding part. You're like, well, I'm going to go with this and not that. Maybe
Yeah, I mean,
I like the holding space better of the urn, but I don't know if that's in that order or not.
I mean, we're discerning at all moments, and I just believe people follow they either follow their unconscious pinball style momentum through things, imagining that they're the agents of it, because they will selectively, biasly reify their decision, saying, I chose that because, as an after product, which creates a sicker demonic, sorry for the term, but it is because it's a force of its own. That's the ego. But if you become a witness, sink into the witness eye, and move from grace, but add the logos I read about in my book, at least, this type
Yeah,
of what I think is more like channeling higher levels of higher levels of intuition and intelligence that have actual direction. Then I think our choices actually are both discerned by us and they're in accordance with what's best for us. Call them principles if you want, right? But they're not principalities in the dark sense. There's so much to say, but yeah, just there's a way to navigate that I'm interested in that admits that we're being propelled, and it's not about necessarily cutting, it's just keeping your eye clearly aware on these forces of consciousness, of energy that's collective. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway,
No,
it's interesting.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I mean, yeah. It's it's and that's like almost and in case you're still listening, this is just a moment of silence, not an audio problem with the podcast. So what's arising for you?
Um, that we are um, in a beautiful storm, and we're the center of it. And passion and acceptance. and that the sadness of regret, doubt, any tension coming from there, once acknowledged, reveals that center of that storm is okay. It's just perfect. What about for you?
Well, as St. Julian of Norwich said, all shall be well. All manner of things shall be well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely in my third eye. Whatever you've done, you've activated my third eye. Because I can feel like light, just like right where the old pituitary is at.
Would you like to do a little reading so that people listening, and this is gentle and always for your uplift and our benefit and their benefit, would you like to do some energy stuff like that?
Yeah, sure. Hit me.
Okay. Well, I want to say that it was beautiful already meeting you, and I honor you, and I'm super, like, just as a human, grateful to have space, because I really believe our karmic paths, people don't always like the word karma, but our paths, come together to bring us together in this really precious time on earth. And I'm just excited to see friends on the spiritual path like we've met many times before. And there's no hierarchical weird power stuff. There's just friendliness, like friends on the path. That's where I come from with everyone I work with. And I'm just grateful to be with you, and like a lot of joy. So I'm going to do a little reading, and it's going to just be like 4 minutes or 5 minutes, if that feels okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So there's so many realms and so much beauty in the joy that you want to bring to others, which is really already known and obvious. And, the best and healthiest fun ancestors support you on that from your field. And they illuminate very quickly a beautiful blend of knowing where seriousness and playfulness resides. And this is like really great from both sides, the masculine and feminine, that it's come in your time. So we honor that, and from the get-go honor that. So it doesn't matter how the Akash works, how the morphic fields and psychic fields work. We're just going to work with them. So because we want to grow. So something is yet to be seen by you, and you're looking for it. It has to do with world systems. Why? It's the big why. And anytime there's been a protection where you protect, if I may, with total love and like just we're all humans, like grounded, loving for your evolution offering. Anytime there's a bypass where you say, it doesn't matter, because this is not honoring your question, because your question is a good question. Your question that you have is good. It's not, see, because what I mean is the question is where the juice of your evolutionary code to help others, it lives in your questioning, right? You're questioning me. Your question is this platform. So The liminal space of we don't know is not part of your power. Your question is part of your power, because you came to do that. And we saying from just pure honor of my helping, your helpers, we want to encourage the power of question. People do not have to make each other comfortable. People have to live inside truth based on their spiritual coordinates in this time. And you have a massive role. It's really beautiful. There's billions of beings here. And we're having a pretty high level conversation that you have enough energy integrated in your system over lifetimes to have. Your question is powerful. You're questioning. Stay in that power. So that's one thing. The system. There's relational love. Yeah? Romance and love. They're part of the story. They come through the field. Yeah. Oh, it's like so big honoring there. Like the pain, the joy, the sorrow, the power, the hilarity, the absurdity, yeah. Romantic. You know, the bonding across eternities with the individual in your mind. Sweetness. Friendship. But wanting. So nothing is left off the table. We accept everything. I'm with you. Of course, there's no evil, blah, blah. But let's each individual in their own channeling right now at home. Those themes are obviously useful for everyone. But let's get to our core themes each. Term I like, existential kink. What is really activating? Because that's your spiritual power. Questioning, seeking union. I love that with you, for you. I see you this from the psychic field. There's no need to ever cover it with anything else. Just like me, I there's no hiding. Spirit has no room. So, but I'm perfect in the things I do when I do them with not integrity, not discernment, just with authenticity. Blah. Like really, you know. So I love seeing that, and now the light shines, and the sun comes home. In you know, and you have so much sun in your you know psycho spiritual chart. Yes, marriage important to the altar with spirit and with an individual body. Yeah, and you can simultaneously be the questioner. It's like a hermit. Because who else can have the question but the questioner? Like, that's the role. The right questions. Yeah. Something will disappear before it all clicks. Now you're thinking maybe I will disappear before it all clicks. Yeah, you wish. You will.
Well, sometimes sometime I'll have to reciprocate and give you a psychic reading. I love
Oh
that.
man, I mean,
You honor me. You honor me. You honor me. That was wonderful. What a gift. So tell me, do you have any other books you're working on, or are you just still working on the kids now? I mean, what's the role? I mean, you mentioned, tell me about your other, besides the kids, what sort of nefarious schemes and helpful things do you do for other people in the world to give readings and to share what you've experienced in your past? And so that people can connect with some of that goodness.
Thank you for your question. Yeah, I mean, the greatest service I did in my life was working with recovering addicts. Uh, and that's where service felt really genuine and really on the ground, that useful also for me in the Akashic reading space, psychic reading, and helping coach and help people. You know, I feel a sense of service, but it feels like, um, it's kind of like it's work. It's a mix of work and service. I have another book I'd like to do based on what's coming around with technology, intimacy. So, you know, in this realm right now, in this world system, in this timeline, if we're at least in the timeline I'm on, there's a real need to for people to become feeling and intimate again in healthy ways, and correlate that to the tools they use. Yeah. So that's sort of the book, The Psychic Age, and then what to work with, how to be with people, disconnect. Right, it's an issue. More grounded kind of book like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So what kind of language are you going to use for that? Because it's not like, so it's not going to be Palladians and Andromedans. It's going to be something else. It's going to be heart and feeling and stuff like that. Maybe. I don't know. You tell me. I should.
Yeah. My this elder that was a teacher of mine, a beautiful human being who, unlike, I mean, I'm very like knifey and Aries and and verbal and play, and he was like soft. He was like a mixture of a man and a woman. He was part indigenous, part German. In terms of his human heritage, pure softness, knowingness. Um, he passed away before the pandemic, like the day before the this whole era began. This part of the story, and on his leaving, he said to me, "Never stop feeling." I really love that because he means I believe he means a specific kind of like in touchness with our feeling. Yeah, that seems to be where I would go with my own life and what people are becoming. They don't even know that people don't know that they're becoming large language models. Yeah, the sense body, intimacy with themselves and others. So I think I'd focus there in writing.
Yeah. It'd be interesting if you can use a language that could somehow bring that to light. Because words, I think, get away from that in a way.
Yeah,
And
books. Like,
just,
what is a book? Like,
yeah, it's almost like to make the language, you just hold somebody else. That's the book. Is you know what I mean? Not necessarily talking about it, but like just holding them or putting together like a circle of people, and I don't know.
yeah, the feeling, like be in relationship.
Yeah, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So is this um, do you, and this is sort of a crass question, but do you have like if people want to connect with you, what would they do? I mean, what would they go to your website and Like
I think my website's kind of down. I have to fix it. Usually they do. I work with people daily. I do work a couple people a day, and I do what we were just doing. And this is me. Like, if people like this and think, like, okay, I like this resonance. Like, okay, he could support me. Then I do that, and channeling and stuff is part of it, but it kind of goes in a lot of directions. But yeah, you could just email me. They could email me. I think the website's down, so they could email me.
your Instagram is up.
Or they can do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can email me at my email, joshreichmann@gmail.com. And I work this way. And yeah. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm all good.
Mm-hmm.
So I went from the third eye, now I'm down lower in my heart, and I'm feeling. So yeah. That's sort of like I think for me that's a good, or that's an interesting pathway that a meditation practice is just to sort of the thoughts come and go, and they're like a little candle up that you can kind of watch, but sort of where the action happens is lower. And that's where it's sort of, you can open up for me to different things that, I mean, to me, the otherworldly stuff isn't in the mind, because that's so high pitched that it doesn't take me anywhere, but the body does. The body will take you. The body is the portal, maybe.
Yeah.
That's another way of saying it. And the feeling that, the resonance and the hum and the vibrations of the body are and I shouldn't like separate them, but because they're all sort of the same process, but it just, maybe it's because I've been away from the body for so long that it's, it's allowing me to experience something new.
Yeah, this is it. We have this, we can relate in that humans can relate. How do you feel when you're with someone? I mean, part of it's what we bring and part of it's what they bring. And sometimes there's this co-resonance that is creative and healing. And it's pretty sacred, spending space and time with people. Someone really genuine, when we're genuine with each other, everything can finally be seen, move around. People can love each other that way.
Well, we should. I told you I'd be an hour, so we should probably wrap this up. And this could but I'd like to have future conversations, obviously. So, yeah.
Thank you.
One last question. When you were doing, do you have some cards or something in front of you that were you using to, when you were doing the reading?
I did. When we were doing that, I was doing my own thing, and then also just reinforcing it with cards and objects.
Yeah. Do you use anything in particular? You don't have to share, but I was.
No, I don't mind. I'm not like a diviner really, but right there during this one, as I looked over when we were sharing, it was popping out. So I just pulled from the Aquarian deck, and it was, for you, it was like sun, it was lovers, and it was the Chariot.
There you go. Yeah. What more do you need? Sun, lovers, and Chariot.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Super beautiful, by the way.
I'll take that.
I hope it was positive. I was like, wow, like some of my tone is a little cutty sometimes, but just beautiful, questioning, sharing, loving connector who offers grander systems from
Yeah.
the heart. Beautiful.
All right. Well, thanks, Josh. How
Thank
about just for the record? Oh, do you mind? We could talk. I just was going to ask about your kids. Maybe we should wrap this up. So anyway,
I'm good. I'm just gonna plug my thing in and just a second. Make sure I'm plugged in. No, I'm good. You can ask me. We can wrap whatever you like. I'm all.
yeah. Well, I was just curious about how many kids you have and what their ages are and that kind of stuff. But we could. You don't have to put this on the air if you don't want to. We could wrap it up.
Oh, it's okay. I have two children, 5 and 7, and yeah, it's the joy and challenge and beauty and power of my life, and yeah.
Yeah. So, what kind of music do you listen to? Or
Wow.
did you listen to?
Do they listen to or me?
No, do you? What kind of
Oh.
music did you listen to, and what do you listen to? Is it?
Oh man, I am a musician. I was a musician,
Yeah.
like a touring musician, yeah, for like years and big band, did the whole thing. I listen and make a lot of music that hopefully has some of that weird channeled, chimey, earthy stuff, but says something. I listen to a lot of stuff. I mean, these days, it's funny you mentioned that. Good psychic question, because I had a big music day yesterday on a big drive, and I was listening to that guy's popular. What's his name? Nicholas. Like, I like all that. What's his name? Oh yeah, Nicola Cruz. Like, I know he's popular in everything from like massage spas to like Balinese hangouts, but that's good driving music. Nicola Cruz. Yeah, and like that kind of stuff.
So, what was your touring band like? Sort of dark.
Rock band, and then a bunch of really weird. I had a band in 2007 called Joshreichmann Oracle Band. I've been doing the metaphysical, mystic, shamanic, self-channeling, channel others, art, human thing for a long time. Well, it's pretty long. My little life. It was a rock band. Yeah, energy exchange between the people. I learned a lot about energy exchange. People who are into shaman, people who do medicine work, should be in a band, because you're on stage in front of thousands of people, and this is how the current works. You're either taking or you're giving, and you can feel it every microsecond. You get sick when you take. One does. So it happens to musicians. They're like, want to give, but then they take because they want to be loved and seen. So if you're in the spirit space, same thing. You're being perceived, you're sharing, but which way is the polarity of energy going? I think performing taught me that.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that's an energy I don't know about as much.
But you're here doing this. I mean, you're in this interesting, magical pod casting out.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you reel in some human being like me, and then this stuff happens, and then
Oh, okay. That'd be interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's maybe the questioning is a taking, perhaps.
No, I think you're
But
doing
not now.
No, it
No.
feels like great service to me. It feels really,
Yeah.
it feels really giving. I feel really blessed up by your invitation, just so you know. And like, I know we spoke. I was like, would you like to do this with me too? But like, by your acceptance in this space. So thank you.
Yeah. Mm. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Okay. We should probably. Thanks, Josh. And
Yeah. Thank you.
so people get your website up, write the new book, man.
Thanks.
Get on that. I'm gonna question. I'm gonna come questioning you.
Yeah, see, that's it.
Why hasn't the book been written, Josh?
Oh man, I would listen to you. I'll report back for duty. I would do that. I will.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.